Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. It has been quite a while since I have shared any notebooking tips. And that's because I honestly thought that I had shared everything that I could think of when it comes to notebooking. But recently, with the unit study that the kids and I have been working on, we've been trying a different kind of notebooking, one that I honestly had never thought of before, and I got the idea from our CONUS curriculum. So today, I'm going to share with you some ideas for creative writing notebooking. Most of you probably already know how much our family loves notebooking. It is such a genuine way of adding writing into your homeschool. And I have shared ideas for notebooking for unit studies. I have shared ideas for notebooking when it comes to free writing journals, copy work, interest-led notebooking. And so I honestly thought that I had covered all the bases. Oh, also nature study notebooking as well. And I really did think that I had covered all of the bases. But recently, when my kids and I were working on a unit study, we still are working on this unit study, an explorers unit study, we actually did start incorporating a creative writing notebook into that. So that just gave me this idea that creative writing notebooks or creative writing journals are another fantastic way to incorporate this method, this learning style, this technique into your homeschool. So some ideas that you can use for a notebook, and first of all, let me just point out very quickly, if you don't know what notebooking is, I am going to link my notebooking playlist in the description box. I have done so many videos about notebooking that I'm really not going to get into the what is notebooking today. I will briefly explain to you that notebooking is it's typically a 3-ring binder, or it's a composition book. Sometimes people use 3-prong folders. Other people actually have their own books spiral bound. But what it is it is a collection of your children's writings, and they very often have a theme, but they don't have to. So for example, my kids have animal notebooks. They love to research different types of animals. So they have an entire 3-ring binder filled with everything animal related. And it doesn't all have to be, like report style. They do, kind of report styles, but they also do comic strips. They do creative writing stories inside of that, but they usually incorporate things that they've learned about the animals in those creative writing stories. Sometimes they will draw the animal and label the parts of the body. They might draw where it comes from. They might include a map in there and shade in different areas of where the animal comes from. Anything that can be flattened can go into a notebook. So a lot of people have a notion that notebooks are all about narrative writing or all about just essay style writing. And that's really not what it is. Notebooking is the most effective and it's the most fun if you allow your child to put anything that they want to in those notebooks. So now that I got that out of the way, and again, if you are looking for a more detailed definition of what notebooking is, definitely check out my notebooking playlist. But one idea for creative writing notebooking that you can do in your homeschool is just free writing. Don't give your kids any instructions other than telling them that you would like them to write a story in the notebook. This could be once a day, this could be once a week, it could be twice a week. It's really up to you, and a lot of that can be gauged towards your child's enthusiasm for it. Some kids would love to do it every single day, whereas others would probably be better off doing it maybe once or twice a week. That is up to you. But a free writing notebook would be such a fun thing for your kids to have. And I know that a lot of people do have little spiral notebooks that maybe they have their kids do creative writing in, but when you're doing notebooking, let your kids get creative. Let them decorate those pages with their stories on. Make sure that they include lots of illustrations. They can use glitter, sticker, foam stickers, washi tape, so many different ideas. Let them dress it up. And I want you to just let them know that this notebook that they have is not something that you're just going to toss in the trash at the end of the year. This is something that is going to be a keepsake. So that, just telling them that, will really make them want to put a little bit more effort into it. And a lot of times, especially with more artsy kids, they will really want to make it look nice too. So free writing is just the very first idea, just letting them write any sort of creative writing story that they want. And let's just move on to the next one. So the next one is that you could give your kids writing prompts. You can find a multitude of writing prompts online. You can think of your own writing prompts, but writing prompts are really good for kids who like to write or maybe don't like to write because they always have problems thinking of ideas, or they don't know where to start. They don't know what topic they should be talking about. So a writing prompt is a lot of fun. For example, you could say to your kids, today I want you to write a story where you walked out of the house and it was raining marshmallows. And then you could have them write a story about that. Some writing prompts actually give you like half of the topic sentence, and then they have to finish that sentence and then go on with the story. Writing prompts are a lot of fun, even for those kids who do like to write their own stories. It's kind of a twist on something that they might already be doing, and it will give them some fresh ideas that they might not have thought of before. Now we're going to get into the unit study themed creative writing, which is how I got this idea to begin with. My kids, I mentioned earlier, have been doing a unit study on explorers, navigation, stars, and sailing. And so one of the activities for that unit study was for the kids to start keeping a journal as if they were an explorer and they discovered a new island. So we've been calling them our island journals. And you know, my kids really got into that a lot, like way more than I thought they would. Even though they like notebooking, I didn't even have a clue as to how much some of my kids, especially my son, would get into this. So we used, most of my kids used a 3-ring binder. A couple of my kids chose to use a composition book just because they thought that it looked more like a journal, because that's what it really was supposed to be, like an explorer keeping a journal as he discovers this island. But what we did each day was that I would give them something else to write about. So yes, we did use writing prompts. And you know, so the first day I told them to write about how they discovered this island. The next day, I think that I had them write about where they found food while they were on this island. And some other writing prompts were what sorts of animals were there, where they found shelter, or how they built their own shelter. And every day they had something new to write about. So right here, my son made a map. He named his island Dreamland, and he made a map of Dreamland right here. And he had such a good time. He writes really, really tiny, so you probably can't see much in there. But he had such a good time writing in this journal. And he would sometimes take, you know, a good 45 minutes writing in this. And he wasn't like huffing and puffing and getting upset about, you know, taking that long to write. He was doing this because he wanted to. And there were even times that I would give the kids the writing prompt for the day. Like the one day I said, okay, now today I want you guys to write about the sorts of animals that are on the island. And my son would raise his hand, and, or not raise his hand, but he would say, Mom, I already wrote about that yesterday. He just went into so much detail that he already had a lot of my writing prompts even covered. So what I ended up telling him a lot of times was I would just tell him to write about an adventure that you had on the island that day. And that's what he did. So for example, here and if you notice, he has Dreamland written at the top of each of his journal entries, but here it says story time. I was hiking on Blue Mountain, and then it started to get really windy. Even bojo fruit and bingo beetles were flying around. Then I took a glance and saw a tropical tornado. Then for some weird reason, it started to get really hot. It must have felt like 120 degrees because I fainted from the heat. I woke up and it felt like at least 78 degrees. And for some reason, I saw a fiery sword. It was so bright. I grabbed it and it fit my hand perfectly. And that was his adventure for that day. And so, you know, it's really up to you whether you want to use a writing prompt or if you just want to let your kids have at it when it comes to writing about your unit study topic. But I love the idea of having your kids keep a journal that is related to the unit study that they are doing. So say if they are learning about Vikings, they could write a journal as if they were Vikings. If they are learning about, say, detectives, the next unit study that my kids will be doing is about detectives. So they could write a journal as if they are detectives and talking about the crimes that they are solving. So this is a really fun way to incorporate writing into your everyday homeschool routine that doesn't feel so much like work to them. And to be honest, I think that we're going to be doing this a lot more often with our unit studies because it just is so much more natural to us, and it's a great way to get your kids excited about writing. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one over on Instagram because YouTube always disables my comments. If you like my work, you can check out my Patreon page and see what rewards I have for my patrons there. And today, I would like to give a shout out to my patron, Beth. I want to thank you so much for being a patron for such a long time. I am so encouraged that there are people who are willing to support me and who like what I do, and I just love hearing from all of you all the time. So just keep it up, keep giving me ideas. That's what I need. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day.